Good evening, this is the Oscar Expert here. Welcome to the 5th recap of Sundance films. I am at Sundance, I am seeing movies. Here are my thoughts on some of the movies I see. Start off on a good note with Minari. This is the most buzzed about film at the festival. A24's label was on it going in. Steven Yeun is in one of the leading roles. It's a film about a Korean family who have moved from California to Oklahoma on a plot of land, and the father is trying to start a farm. The family consists of Steven Yeun as the father, the mother, two children, one of whom, the little boy, is cute as hell. Everybody in the theater was awing all the time at this kid. He's a total star, and he's kind of the main character in the movie. And then we have the grandmother who comes in, and she is great. She's so lovable. If you liked the grandma in The Farewell, you will be just as happy, if not more, with this grandma. It will be another year of snubs for a great Asian grandmother, but let's cross our fingers, hopefully not. The family in this movie, you really come to love and care about them. This is a movie that, like, the main theme is about family holding together, and a father who is a little bit at odds with that, with his desire to own land and to farm and to do something more than just sexing chickens, which is when you like sort them by their gender, which they do as a survival job. It's about the immigrant experience. In some ways, it's about the American dream, pursuing more for your family. All the symbols and the themes in this film all come down to family. And this movie has you laughing with them, it has you, crying with them. At the end of the day, you cherish the bonds that the family has with each other. This is certainly a movie that we're going to be talking about all year. It is delightful. It's sentimental in all the right ways. If anyone tells you it's overly sentimental, don't believe it. I mean, it's a movie about family. It's really well shot. It's well directed. The screenplay deserves to be nominated. The acting is excellent. Steven Yeun is great. The grandmother is a total standout. The kid is great. The mom's great. This is a fantastic ensemble cast. The score from Emile Mosseri, who did The Last Black Man in San Francisco, it's absolutely gorgeous. And with these two films, he also did Kajillionaire, which had a great score. He's on a roll. This guy is gonna become the next Desplat or something. He's really that good. He's really that creative. The sound palettes that he uses, the lush orchestration, beautiful score. It will be criminal if this isn't nominated for Best Score next year. It will be criminal if The Grandmother isn't nominated, if the screenplay isn't nominated. I would like to see it get nominated for picture. I think it's kind of worthy of that. We got to keep the hype there. Steven Yeun might even be a supporting actor because although I thought he was the lead going in, he's kind of just as big a piece as others in the family, and I think they could campaign him in supporting because I don't think he's got a shot in lead. If I have one complaint, it might be that the father has the biggest arc in the movie, but I think that the other characters who are equally important don't seem to have quite as big of an arc. But this is a great movie about family that will make you feel warmth and love radiating from it. I will give this movie a 9 out of 10. It's definitely one of the best of the festival. Next, The Last Thing That He Wanted. This is directed by Dee Rees of Pariah and Mudbound fame. Both films extraordinarily acclaimed. This one has Anne Hathaway in the lead role and Dafoe in a supporting role. Netflix has this one coming out next month. The February release date didn't look great for this because it seems like something they would want to release around awards season, considering the director and the source material and the cast. I know exactly why. To start, I thought Anne Hathaway and Willem Dafoe were very good, and Anne Hathaway alone was kind of enough to keep me somewhat engaged. The cinematography was good. The issue with this film is that it makes no goddamn sense. Everybody I have talked to about the movie doesn't understand a single thing. I had no idea what she was doing, why she was doing it, where she is, who these people are at any given point, and I was trying to kind of pay attention. Why is this movie so difficult to understand? It didn't really even feel like, if you did understand, that it would be so complicated. The movie even has a lot of exposition, and it still can't get through to you. It goes in one ear and goes out the other. I can't even say that much about this movie because I didn't understand anything that happens. I get the gist of that, her dad is dying and she has to go do something for him and she's a journalist. I don't know what she did for her dad. I don't think it's that we're all stupid. I think that this movie has a communication error. And the end has this very laughable final shot to put the cherry on top of the cake and remind you that it's okay if you don't like this movie. This final shot is pretty dumb. I will give it a 4 out of 10. I just could not tell you what happened. And it has a 0 on Rotten Tomatoes right now, so skip this one on Netflix when you can. Then I watched His House, which I guess is a Netflix film. It's a horror movie about refugees who come to, I think, the UK, and they're given a house which is like extremely lucky for them. As a refugee, it makes sense that you'd experience a lot of guilt and grief for those who are left behind, and that's what this movie's about. The man in the movie is hoping to forget about this past and move on, and the woman, she feels a lot of those feelings of guilt. Both of them are sort of haunted by their experiences back home, the guilt, the grief. It's actually manifests in some ways that are very scary. At the end, they got a little ridiculous. There was like a particular creature that took me out of the movie, unfortunately. This movie is very kind of on the nose with like the subjects that it's tapping into and the politics and like the social themes. What is haunting them will like say things to them that are kind of on the nose. I think that thematically, like the way that this movie is structured and what's beyond the walls is like haunting. I think that it's a really well constructed movie, and thematically it holds up very well. But sometimes that also made it like a little obvious. It could have used like a little bit of restraint in that way. I think that's what maybe kept me from like loving it more. But I think this was like a great addition to this recent wave of social horror films. It's definitely an interesting conversation about the refugee experience. I give it a 7 out of 10. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. What is the last thing that he wanted?